few years ago, Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa and the leader of the African National Congress, was heralded as a savior when he took over as head of state from Jacobzuma. Before we continue, please kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on the notification bell so as to get all our updates. He was supported by a large number of individuals, including blacks and whites, the rich and the poor, and opposing groups. The situation has become worse, and a lot of people are now publicly condemning him. I despise Ramaphosa. Even his voice bothers the heck out of me like Zimbabwean sound. Zama says, illustrating why he and others share his newfound hostility for the South African president. Every time Ramaphosa shows up on TV or the radio, I just switch the channel because I can no longer stand his falsehoods. Almost everything about him irritates me, says Jack, the captain. His digressions are no longer a waste of my time. He doesn't seem to have any clue what he's doing. Lasari asserts that he never appears to settle on a particular stance. Once more, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula provided information on the early stages of President Cyril Ramaphosa's rise to power in a recent declaration. He explained how the objectives outlined at the ANC's open conference form the foundation of Ramaphosa's administration. These objectives assisted him in leading and dispersed the strategies he is presently in charge of putting into practice. Mbalula's remarks coincide with an increasing amount of scrutiny of the Ramaphosa administration, particularly about the department's performance, or lack thereof, in connection with important issues such as debasement and administrative conveyance. Mbalula's comment is important because it shows that Ramaphosa's direction directly stems from the choices reached by the ANC group as a whole. The summit, a pivotal event in the ANC's political calendar, brought together members from throughout the country to choose leaders and decide the organization's course for the next years. In accordance as the plan his party has created, Ramaphosa must adhere to these directives as the chosen pioneer. Although Mbalula's claim confirms Ramaphosa's veracity, it also quietly appeases those who have doubted his viability. Others dispute Ramaphosa's authority, arguing that it is inadequate to address significant issues like unemployment and debasement. However, Mbalula's remarks serve as a reminder that the president is carrying out the party's overall program rather than acting alone. Mbalula is bolstering the idea that Ramaphosa operates inside a preset framework by emphasizing the importance of goal gathering, which might aid in comprehending the cadence and character of his actions. Despite this, the public's view remains divided. Some see Ramaphosa as a uniting force in South African politics, emphasizing the preservation of the ANC's unity and the country's foundations. Meanwhile, others believe that his cautious approach isn't producing the significant improvements they had hoped for. Therefore, Mbalula's remarks could be an effort to reassure the two supporters and commentators that Ramaphosa is constrained by the decisions made by his party, not by his personal desires. As South Africa's problems grow, Ramaphosa's legacy will continue to be heavily influenced by his ability to carry out the ANC's goals. As the 2024 contest draws near, his initiative will surely go ignored. Once again, Cosatu members made news at a recent convention when they declined to listen to ANC mainstay Gwede Mantashe speak. Many were taken aback by this action, considering Mantashe's significant influence inside the African National Congress, ANC. But what really grabbed notice was the seeming contradiction that ensued. Cosatu members voted for candidates associated with President Cyril Ramaphosa's ANC faction, even though they had previously rejected Mantashe. Many people questioned the union's policies and the reasons behind them after this perplexing series of events. The Congress of South African Trade Unions, or Cosatu, has long been a significant force in the nation's politics and often supports the ANC. But this episode has raised questions about the union's internal dynamics and closeness to the ANC leadership. Mantashe, known as Uncle Gwede in political circles, was not allowed to speak to Cosatu members, but his party colleagues, many of whom had strong ties to Ramaphosa, ended up winning over the same group. Questions about internal strife and the variables affecting their voting behavior have been highlighted by the union's activities. Did this represent deeper conflicts between various groups within Cosatu, or was it a symbolic rejection of certain ANC leaders? Additionally, supporting Ramaphosa's friends indicates a degree of